Greetings, everyone. Hope all of you are having an absolutely fantastic day. A demo has recently come out for Mechanicus 2. I played some of it and I thought I'd give you all my thoughts. First and foremost, let me make it clear, I never played Mechanicus 1. Heard really cool things about it from a music and a vibe standpoint, but it was just a game I never got around to. But I definitely said, you know what? I love Warhammer, and ironically, I've really been getting into tactics games with having done a full live stream playthrough of Tactics Ogre and in the middle of a Final Fantasy Tactics playthrough. So I was like, Mechanicus 2 seems like it's in that same vein of game, so I might as well go ahead and give it a shot. I've really enjoyed my time with it, so let's go ahead and get into my thoughts, starting with what I like. So once again, I am live streaming Final Fantasy Tactics, and of course, that game and Tactics Ogre, they use small sprites as the representation of everything your character does, which is significantly different from how Mechanicus 2 visualizes your character. And I gotta say, it's kind of nice being back in a modern game with full animations. It looks absolutely stunning in combat. The moves you do look brutal. You have the option of playing with the Adeptus Mechanicus or with the Necrons. Both of them look fully visually realized and very distinctive across their units. For the most part, I am really happy with this game from a visual standpoint. The one caveat I would provide is during the cutscenes. Sometimes they look fine when it just focuses on the characters. They are, for the most part, stationary, and then you just see the subtitles down below telling you what they're saying. But in some situations where things are supposed to be happening in the scene, such as in the beginning where the ship is flying overhead, it doesn't look quite right. The environments look almost Play-Doh. I don't know if that's just because it's the demo and they're still working on fleshing that stuff out, but it was a little off-putting until I got a little more used to it. But again, when you're in combat, everything looks absolutely fantastic, and that's honestly where you're going to spend the vast majority of your time anyway. Now, I mentioned that Warhammer 1 was well regarded for music and atmosphere, and it's hard to tell if Mechanicus 2 is going to measure up to that game in that regard, but from what I played, it absolutely seems to be stepping in the same direction. This game just feels like Warhammer, dark, gritty. That organ music is meshing right in. Of course, I already mentioned the environments look fantastic, and it pulls you in to that feeling of being in a dreadful place that you're probably never going to return from. Super cool. You start as a member of the Adeptus Mechanicus, and the game immediately hammers home that they have a ruthless search for knowledge and that they force mechanized humans to do their bidding, while the Necrons essentially believe that the entire galaxy belongs to them and see the Adeptus Mechanicus as pests who need to be removed. All of this is awesome. I think any Warhammer fan is going to be able to jump right in and feel at home in this setting. Mechanically, this game seems very intriguing as well. So when it is your turn during combat, the game uses a grid-based system for you to be able to move. Now, on your turn, you can actually choose any character you like to take your turn with, but that character can only act once per round. So on the right hand side, you can see the order in which your enemies and then you are able to act. But even when it comes to your turn, there's a lot of tactics and strategy involved, because you not only get to do a turn, but you get to pick specifically who on the board is going to take a turn, as long as they have not already acted that round. And so it becomes a question of which character is in the most advantageous position for you right here at this moment to do something that's going to help devastate the opposition. Now, for both sides of a battle, the leader means everything. So the leader is the one with the most health. They have the most devastating abilities, and they can deploy more reinforcements during the battle as well. So not only at the beginning do you deploy the usual amount of soldiers, you know, I think it was 5 during this, which is standard amount for these type of tactics games, but halfway through the battle, if some of your units have died, you can actually bring in your reserves during the fight to assist in taking out the enemy, which I thought was really, really interesting. And in some situations, the enemy can do the same thing. So again, layers of tactics. Now, there is cover available in the game, but all characters cannot use cover. The 2 leaders that I played as, one on the Adeptus Mechanicus, one on Necrons, neither one of them were capable of using cover. They basically do not know fear and are therefore vulnerable to any weapon fire that comes their way. But even if you're playing as a character who can sit behind cover, cover can be destroyed. And so you have to be careful in how you utilize it to make sure you're not accidentally putting your character in a situation where they're going to be harmed. Now, your standard units on the battlefield can move, and they can perform one weapon attack that stops movement. So it's not just about where do they need to be to do the most damage. You have to also consider how much damage are they going to receive after they finish their attack. This contrasts with your leader, who is going to be able to perform all weapon attacks, and these attacks do not prevent movement. So you have a lot more versatility with what your leader can do. Now, when you kill an enemy as an Adeptus Mechanicus, or when you debuff them on the Necron side, you're going to get these power-ups, and these power-ups are going to allow you to either deal more damage when you select them for one of your units, or you can use them to give your leader more movement so that they can reach the exact spot that you want them to. Oh, and before I forget, one other cool aspect of the Necrons is when you bring one of them down, there's a timer, and then they'll automatically revive themselves. The Adeptus Mechanicus can attack the piles, I believe, to permanently destroy the creatures. But also, if you're playing as the Necron, the leader has an ability to automatically cause all Necrons on the field who have been down to just stand right back up. And the super cool aspect of this, at least in the demo, is that you're playing in a Necron tomb. So right from the start of combat, there will oftentimes be some of your warriors who are littered around the ground because the Adeptus Mechanicus have been fighting their way through the tomb. And so you can basically just start your turn with bringing in a couple of more allies into the battlefield. That is awesome. And I wonder if that's going to continue in other parts of the game as well, and what the Adeptus Mechanicus gets to kind of even that out, because frankly, I didn't see anything in the demo that made me really feel like they have a mechanic that's an answer for that. Now, another aspect of this demo that I really enjoyed is the amount of agency it provided. I don't know if it worked this way in Mechanicus 1, but throughout my time with the demo, I made a ton of choices. So you do not manually explore. The story appears to be on rails from that standpoint. So your figure is moved around when going through the actual world, but very consistently, you will be stopped and presented with situations where you have to decide how you want to deal with it. One of them was a door that I needed to get past, and I had to decide, did I want to take more time to learn the technology and figure out how to open the door the way it's meant to be open, or did I want to brute force through it? And again, there are a lot of decisions that are just like that. And And even more interesting, it at least appears that there's a right answer. So I decided to go ahead and just learn the technology. And then later on, when I got into a fight, the game noted that because I took the calmer route, I was not going to have to deal with reinforcements in this fight. I'm not clear on if maybe I would have gotten a different positive result if I had brute forced the door. And so that might be some interesting replayability that the game provides, or maybe there is just one singular path you're supposed to take and failure is an option when it comes to these different choices. But really, really cool. I love it when a game gives agency. And so I definitely appreciated this aspect of the playthrough. And again, I felt like I made quite a few choices even within the hour, 2 hours that I played the demo. Now, the last thing I'll mention that I'm not a big fan of when it comes to what I've seen from Mechanicus 2 is it doesn't seem like it's focusing on story that much, or at the very least, I felt kind of just thrown into the events as opposed to being given some backstory and being given some lead in that would help me connect more with the characters and what they're going through. Now, you start with the Adeptus Mechanicus, and the game basically just starts with a cutscene of you landing and being told, hey, you messed up before, you got to find some technology now, get to it. Now, my understanding is the character that you play as was in Mechanicus 1. So I think you would probably connect a lot more with that character and get right into the thick of things if you have already played the first game. But I think because I didn't play the first game, I didn't automatically feel connected to this character and prior events. And so it became hard for me to connect as much with the story. It's a little better when you get to the Necron side because the Necron leader you play as has just woken up. So she's trying to figure out what the heck is going on and pull things together just the same way you are. And so it's kind of weird to say, but honestly, I feel more connected to the Necrons than I do the Adeptus Mechanicus. I'm not clear on when this game fully releases, do you have to choose between the Adeptus Mechanicus and the Necrons, or do you constantly switch back and forth between the two sides? But if you do have to choose, I think I'm gonna go ahead and choose the Necrons, to be honest with you, and see what it's like taking them through an entire playthrough. But regardless, playing through this demo definitely convinced me I'm going to be giving Mechanicus 2 a try. Really looking forward to it. Of course, I've been really getting into Texas games recently. Mechanicus 2 would be no exception. So let me know down in the comments what you thought of this video and what you think about the overall game. Are you planning to play Mechanicus 2? Is there any particular content you're looking for in regards to the game? If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that bell so you don't miss any content. And there are links down below if you want to sign up as a member or sign up as a patron and support the channel. Hope all of you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.